Hey guys, Miss Steele here. So I'm going to do some Mr. Popper's Penguins. We left off on chapter 8. Mr. Popper was taking Captain Cook for a walk. They both were dressed in their suit. Or, not they both were. The penguin was in his penguin. He was a penguin. And Mr. Popper was in his suit and looked like a penguin also. The reporter stopped him, asked for some pictures, and wanted to interview him. So now we are moving on to chapter 9, in the barber shop. It was very quiet in the barber shop. The barber was shaving an elderly gentleman. Captain Cook found its spectacle very interesting. In order to get a better view, he jumped upon the mirror ledge. "Good night," said the barber. The gentleman in the barber's chair, his face already white with lather, half lifted his head to see what had happened. "Gawk," said the penguin, flapping his flippers and reaching out his long beak toward the lather on the gentleman's face. With a yell and a leap, the gentleman rose from his reclining position, left the barber's chair, and fled into the street, not even stopping for his coat and hat. "Oh," said Captain. "Hey," said the barber to Mr. Popper, "take that thing out of my shop. This is not a zoo. What's the idea?" "Do you mind if I take him out your back door?" asked Mr. Popper. "Any door," said the barber, "as long as it's quick. Now it's biting the teeth off my combs." So there's a little picture of Mr. Popper, or Captain Cook, jumping up there and scaring the guy out of there. Mr. Popper took Captain Cook in his arms and, amid cries of "Quack, quack, quack, quack," made his way out the shop and its back room and out the door into an alley. Captain Cook now discovered his first back stairway. Mr. Popper discovered that when a penguin has found steps going up somewhere, it absolutely is impossible to keep him from climbing them. "All right," said Mr. Popper, panting up the steps behind Captain Cook. "I suppose, being a bird and one that can't fly, you have to go up in the air somehow, so that's why you like to climb stairs. Well, it's a good thing this building only has 3 stories. Come on, let's see what you can do." Slowly but unwearyingly, Captain Cook lifted one pink foot after another from one step to the next, followed by Mr. Popper at the other end of the clothesline. As they came to the top landing, "Now what?" inquired Mr. Popper to Captain Cook. Finding there was no more steps to climb, Captain Cook turned around and surveyed the steps that now went down. Then he raised his flippers and leaned forward. Mr. Popper was still panting for breath, had not supposed the determined bird would plunge so quickly. He should have remembered that penguins like to toboggan whenever they get the chance. Perhaps he had been unwise in tying one end of the clothesline to his own wrist. At any rate, this time Mr. Popper found himself suddenly sliding on his own white-clad stomach down 3 flights of steps, the delighted penguin who was enjoying his slide just ahead of Mr. Popper. When they reached the bottom, Captain Cook was so eager to go up again, and Mr. Popper had to call a taxi just to distract him. "432 Proudfoot Avenue," said Mr. Popper to the driver. The driver, who was a kind and polite man, did not laugh at his oddly assorted passengers until he had been paid. "Oh dear," said Mr. Popper when Mrs. Popper when she opened the door to her husband. "You looked so neat and handsome when you started for your walk, and now look at the front of you." "I'm so sorry, my love," said Mr. Popper in a humble tone, "but you can't always tell what a penguin will do next." So saying, he went to lie down, for he was quite exhausted from all the unusual exercise, while Captain Cook had a shower and took a nap in the icebox. That's it for chapter 9. So they finished their walk with going up some stairs and then sliding down on his belly on some stairs, and with Mr. Popper and Captain Cook attached. So Mr. Popper also got to slide down his belly on some stairs. So his nice fancy clothes, not so nice and fancy anymore. But that is it for chapter 9. We'll have to go on to chapter 10 and see what happens next. Bye, guys.